Yo, what is up guys, and welcome back to another video here today. This is a league racing video, so this is round 3 here at the French Grand Prix here in GPR Grand Prix racing, or used to be known as GWF. So yeah, here we go then. Qualifying, this is a full qualifying Q1, 2 and 3, so into turn 1 we go, and we are driving for Ferrari. We are a full-time Ferrari driver, a quick with EXA to be honest. As I haven't had the best of luck in EXAs. We now come through the end of sector 1, the very sharp corners, as we now go purple, and that's a Red Bull in our way there, but it's not going to do too much harm, as we did indeed get the purple first sector, and it's only a near enough straight that we go down to now, and my teammate is going to give me some slipstream. Nice one, teammate, as we now go into the little chicane where the exit of the second sector is, and my teammate Bobby will give me some more slipstream that I can work with. So yeah, he cut that whole chicane to give me some more slipstream, so very technical there from Bobby, as I'm fighting for pole position here this afternoon, well this evening. So yeah, 18 drivers. We were meant to have 20 actually. It was meant to have a full grid, but that wasn't the case here this fine evening. But yeah, as we now come down into the third and final sector, into the last two corners, round the final corner we go, which was a very sharp turn, as we're now going to get the DRS wide open. Down the main straight we go. What's it going to be? It's going to be a 1:31.233. So that gets us P1 ahead of the Williams drivers, and there we have it. Q1, there's the standings for Q1. So a top Q1, and my teammate Bobby in P4. So not a bad qualifying initially, as we now into Q2, and we're going to start our lap here, our first run here in Q2, as we now go into turn 1. Not very clinical this time into turn 1. Turns 2, 3 as well. Turn 4 now. Very easy to invalidate through the end of the first sector. And not turn 4, there's Gregor there in the Aston Martin, nearly getting in our way, but just managed to stand firm on the edge of the track as we get purple first sector, as it says in the mini-map, but on the actual thing it's green. So we don't know whether it's going to be, well, we don't know where it's going to put us, but yeah, we look very sharp as Bobby gives me more slipstream. So yeah, as I messed it up a little bit through that corner there, and yeah, there's Gregor going down as yeah, I felt a bit of polystyrene there going into my front wing as we now go down the slingshot, and now through the never-ending corner in the well, obviously I'm going to be in the Ferrari, but yeah, now through the hairpin, a little shot. There's too many sharp turns here at the French Grand Prix as we come through the exit of that corner. Jericho, who's the main man that we want to be watching in this Grand Prix. He's got the world record actually in Mexico. I don't know how he's in the division, to be honest. I don't know how he's in GP2. Should be in GP1 as we now come around the final corner. Anyway, let's forget about Jericho. What's it going to be? It's going to be another 31, but it's a .478 this time. So how interesting is we're now going to start our final Q2 lap here in France, as we now go through turn 1. That's a better turn 1 than our banker lap here in Q2, whereas Bashi goes 1:30.4. Absolute whopping lap there from the Alfa Romeo, as we now go down into the sharp turns of sector 1, and we lose a bit of time, but we also gain a bit of time, as it now says we've gone purple in the first sector. So this is looking like a Q3 entry here in GP2 France, as now Bobby gives us more slipstream. So he's doing very well actually with the slipstream, as we now come down into the last, well, we've come down into the last corner of the second sector. It's also purple in the middle sector, so this is looking like a very strong lap. Bobby gives us more slipstream as he did back in Q1 there as well. Maybe, I think it was Q2 as well, if I can remember. Well, no, banker lap, but I don't think he did, if I'm being honest there, as we now come through the hairpin. Get a good exit if we can. Practice so much round here in time trial in Grand Prix mode as well, as we now come through the also, which is another never-ending corner, as we come through the last corner, which is a sharp turn. Try and keep the steering wheel straight so we get a good exit possible. We've run out of ERS, so this is not going to be the expectation, but it's a 130.8. And here's the Q2 standings there as we come P3 here in Q2, and Bobby in P6, my teammate. So yeah, here we are then in Q3 as we're going to start our first run here in Q3. I don't know actually, is it our last run? Yes, it is our last run. We did invalidate our first run as we now come through turns 1 and 2. We try to gain some time, and we do indeed. We're now green on the Delta as we now come through the easy to invalidate corner, as I'll call it for this episode here in round 3 in France. So now we come through the end of the first sector, and we're about 1/10 up. So yeah, very strong first sector there, as we're now going to get that rear flap open. Down the back straight we go, 200 miles an hour. Down the back straight, 206 miles an hour, 207 miles an hour. Try and get into the corner as much as possible so you do not end up spinning. If you don't take too much of that curb, you will end up spinning, as we're now 4/10 up in that middle sector. It's a green middle sector there from us. It's saying it's purple, but do not believe it at all. Yeah, 7/10 up now on our invalid lap time, which was a 131.9. So we initially gained lots of time here on this lap as we now come through the hairpin, a little short hairpin, and try and get the steering wheel as straight as possible. Now coming through the last 2 corners, use the red line there, and round the final corner, which is a sharp turn. Round the final corner, get the steering wheel as straight as possible. We try and gain at least a second, but it's only 9/10, which puts us 131.0. That puts us 3rd fastest ahead of Jericho. But here's the final standings. Bobby actually got a 5-place grid penalty with Sparko, so we're going to get bumped up to P4. As you can see, we qualified P5, but Bobby has a 5-place grid penalty, so we're going to get brought up to P4 as we're thinking of strategy. And here we are then for the formation lap here at the French Grand Prix, and we get a bit of a bad getaway on the formation lap, but that does not matter at all, as at least we try and keep a gap. So we're starting on the hards, ending on the mediums. We're going to do 15 laps on the hards. So yeah, the reason why I didn't stream it was due to so people do not click on my stream and find out what strategy I'm actually using. But it's also a good strategy for people to use next season if we come around here next season as well. So yeah, as the formation lap is in place, as we're behind 2 Williams drivers here. We're actually fighting in the overall Constructors' Championship. So yeah, Ferrari as a whole team in GP1 and 2, as you can see there, I paused my game. I'm not too sure why actually, can't remember. But yeah, we're fighting against Williams. Hopefully we can win the overall Constructors. Hopefully we can win the GP2 Constructors if Bobby manages to be consistent enough in these races. But yeah, we're starting P4, Bobby's starting P8. So yeah, here we are for the formation lap. Bit of a messy formation lap, I can't lie, as Reggie went absolutely out of nowhere wide. And yeah, I have to halt a little bit as that Williams there is spinning, and both Williams have spun under the formation lap near enough at the same time. So we're going to let the Williams ahead of me, one of them anyway, as we're now coming to a close of the formation lap. As you can see there, the grid slots, we've got to do them ourselves. So we're going to go past the Alfa Romeo, who was actually on pole position but left the game. So yeah, the Alfa Romeo who was on pole is no longer going to be first anymore. So yeah, it'll only be first for about a little bit of the straight as we try and get the maximum potential of these tyres, as now we're going to get a 0.2 metre parking there, an optimal parking, purple tick and everything. So yeah, we're starting on the hards. Rusty, he's actually starting on the mediums, so yeah, that is somewhat interesting. As we pause our game there, I'm not too sure why. So we're going to start in neutral, as we're still waiting for people to actually get their grid slots done, as now people have all parked into their slots, and yeah, the 5 red lights are now up on our screen. 5 red lights, and away we go here for the French Grand Prix. We got off to a good start on Reggie, but also a bad start to Jericho. There, who's the man to watch this evening, as Rusty, who's on the mediums, also got quite a good start there, as Bobby on the first lap spins and is an absolute calamity here on the first lap. But that's France. France turn 1 never ends well, unfortunately. But it was alright, it was better than nothing, as we are now P6. Jericho and Rusty overtook us, so we're just gonna yield for a bit on this first lap. There's no point for overtakes. We've got 27 laps to think. We need to think of strategy first before overtaking. So we're going to see where the line is and brake. So yeah, this is the tactic here, in case someone does indeed end up spinning, so I can dodge it in time. As we're now on to lap 3 out of 27 of this French Grand Prix here in Grand Prix racing, has now come down the straight, and there is a toe starting to build here, as now the DRS is now available. Obviously lap 3 DRS gets enabled. Here we go then down the straight into the corners, but oh no, the Williams on a spin, and there's yellow flags running around in sector 2, but is that going to be the safety car? No, green flags up and running. So yeah, how interesting will this Grand Prix be? I'm not too sure, but yeah, anything can happen now. Lap 5 out of 27, Fox is out of the Grand Prix, and the full course safety car has been deployed, as the Delta is such a pain, and we have to dodge the Haas there in front of us of Rusty. So too close for comfort there, but although we dodged him, that was a very good save from me there, as we could have ended up God knows where underneath his tyres. So yeah, here we are then. Lap 8 out of 27. It took us 3 laps to prepare to resume, and now Jericho, who's in the lead, and yeah, Rusty got fooled to go into the pits, so yeah, he's going to be quite somewhat down in that field, as Jericho fooled him there, as he gets also a good start there. He's 1 second ahead of me here on lap 8, going on to lap 9. Green flags running around after this safety car, as now we move down into lap 15, and you can see the clouds are now starting to pick up in this race, and that makes me think, are we going to get some rain as we now box and we just keep it on the limit there, 37 mile an hour pit lane. It's one of the slowest pit lanes in Formula 1, as we're now going to come into the box, optimal turning as well, so we'll take that as we go on to the mediums. So yeah, I'll definitely take that one, as now we're outside of the points paying positions. It's not like EXA where you have 12 runners and they get points from 12th to 1st. So yeah, it's from 10th to 1st in this league, as it usually would be in any other sort of league, but it's normal points paying positions as they are in real life. We get the DRS wide open into 8th gear, we're going to go 200 mile an hour down the back straight, and yeah, we're not going to catch up to any sort of AI. Well, we're going to see whether they're all AIs, and they indeed are. This is a 75% AI, so yeah, I can't understand that. Maybe should be a bit lower, but yeah, at the end of the day, it's the AI. The AI choose what they want, and yeah, it's up to the league as well what they want for the AI. As now we're getting ourselves into the top 10 ahead of Sparko, Bashi, and Mr. Golden Flame. So yeah, they've all left the session. I don't know why, but yeah, we're into P8 now of this Grand Prix, and that's Nicholas in the McLaren boxing. As now we come down the straight, and yeah, we're definitely going to get ahead of that Williams, who was initially 2 seconds ahead of before the pit stop phase. So yeah, we're going to fight this Aston Martin now on the same lap as we basically undercutted the Williams, but obviously we never. As we now go wheel to wheel with fire in the Aston Martin, we keep it on the limit. What are you doing? And as you can hear me say there, what are you doing? Yeah, what are you doing? Like, come on, that's got to be a bit better from you there, mate. I don't know what actually happened, to be honest, with me and that Aston Martin, but Jericho actually pits, and he's still in the box. Something must have gone wrong at AlphaTauri. We're gonna get ahead of Jericho. We've undercutted Jericho. Now, next on the list for overtaking is Rusty. As we're now going to go on his inside there. It's mediums against hards. It's very much an unfair test. We're going to go on the inside, and we're trying to leave him enough room so he can go back on the inside. We're going to slam the door shut, and yeah, we're up into P1 now. Ferrari are the strongest team, and are making them look strong. As we're now going 7/10 already on Rusty within 2 corners. We're using our ERS to the advantage as well. So yeah, lap 24. Jericho manages to catch us up. There's nothing that the guys behind could do. So now down the straight, it's going to get the DRS. We're going to slam the door shut so we can't get anywhere near us. Now, down the other straight, one of the back straights. It's a little short straight, not too long. As we now come down here into the little slingshot, onto the flat out slingshot, but yeah, slam the door shut in a never ending corner. And yeah, we slammed the door shut yet again, but I think we could be in some sort of trouble here against the AlphaTauri, as we now have to go. We try to squeeze him. We're going to squeeze him on his outside, but he's going to take the lead anyway. He's too quick. I've got nothing against him, unfortunately. So we try on the inside, but we get a warning for exceeding track limits. So yeah, we want to keep it clean as much as possible, so we could just have to yield. And yeah, unfortunately, we did not stay within 3 seconds. I had to save the tyres toward the end, as Jericho wins the French Grand Prix. We could have easily won that Grand Prix, but unfortunately we'll have to take P2 10 seconds ahead of the Williams there. So initially that was not a bad race, as we now can see Reggie get up into P3. So not bad, 13 seconds behind me, which is actually quite bad, but yeah. And Tomo, he moves down to P5, and the other Williams moves up to P4 due to penalties. So here is a picture of me on the podium with Jericho and Reggie. So yeah guys, that's all from me here today then. So I hope you have enjoyed, and I'll see you next week. So yeah, here's the standings, and I'll see you a lot later. Goodbye.